Could you introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Dustin O'Leary. I am the Vice President of BayRides and a proud supporter of all the work we do. Rural transit is really a construct of the province of Nova Scotia and the Halifax Region Municipality together, at least from the BayRides perspective. They created a model where community groups could come together as a group of dedicated volunteers and create a transit system that would operate outside of any municipal transit service. And it was really focused on marginalized communities, seniors, and those of low income were really identified as the first targets. And then the service, and most services, of course, develop and grow from there. It's one of the pieces of rural transit model that actually makes things rather interesting is that the service area is very finite as dictated by the province. There are still issues of the service areas don't always follow the electoral areas or community boundaries. So it makes it difficult sometimes because you can't travel outside of your own service boundary. BayRides started about 5 years ago with a group of dedicated volunteers who saw a need for people in the community to have a way to connect to the community who may not already. The St. Margaret's Bay area, even up to Upper Tantallon, can be a bit disconnected because people do live far away from one another. This was an opportunity to provide a service that really connected local businesses to the community that surrounds them, and also to give seniors, those with low income who don't have an automobile of their own, the ability to travel within the community and also to meet the services that we already have from a municipal perspective. So the Metro X service that Halifax Transit offers is a great service, but people still need the ability to connect to it. So that's where BayRides came in. The service originally started back as a 2-day-a-week service that has now gone to 5 days a week, 6 to 6. It works with the dedication of a lot of good people and a little bit of staff to make sure the whole thing operates on a day-to-day basis. So we went from an entirely volunteer driver operator base to now we have 4 paid drivers. That number will increase, and we still have a field of volunteer drivers who work with us every day to make sure people get around as they need to. We have a dispatcher as well who's on with us, and it works quite well. Two years ago, 2/3 of our ridership was seniors, and now that number has basically now gone to 50-50 between commuters and seniors. It's not like any less seniors are taking the service. More commuters are taking the service and have sort of increased the total ridership of BayRides. The benefit that BayRides has over a traditional municipal transit service is that it is a door-to-door stop. If Halifax Transit, for example, tried to set up more service in a more rural footprint, trying to find stops that were accessible and easy for people to get to becomes really difficult and probably not business-wise a good decision. But for us, being a door-to-door service, it does. It's just that we have to have qualified dispatchers and be able to schedule our work effectively, right? So the challenges BayRides has right now are really based around our own success. The demand for our services are growing rapidly year over year, and for example, 2 years ago we ran about less than 4,000 riders for the fiscal year. This year we're tracking to be about 8,700, which is a massive increase, and we need to continually find revenue sources to be able to offer that service and offer it effectively, and we don't want to turn anybody away. So that would be the challenge that we're going through right now, is how do we continue to provide the service that we know there is a demand for year over year and in a financially responsible way. However, that said, I think one of the things that may make the service even more attractive would be to have our fare parity with Halifax Transit. So if the Metro X and the fare from BayRides could connect in some way, that would probably be really helpful. That's a tough part for BayRides, is that the average trip from Metro X is $8.50 per person, but they charge $3.50. Well, we don't have the luxury of being that subsidized. So for us, it's $5 if you're within 10 kilometers of your stop, but you can go from here to the downtown Halifax, which is a 30-kilometer spin for $3.50. That makes it tough, right? That it's a little tough to justify, but it's because of the economics, right?
My name's Chris, and I live out in St. Margaret's Bay. And I heard about BayRides about 3 years ago. It was on the local newspaper. I just phoned them up, and I think I was one of their first riders. And every Tuesday, it's a free bus ride into. We go to Superstore one week, and then Sobeys the next. But there are about 20 of us sitting here, so there's about 3 buses that bring us in, and they're very happy because the drivers are all professional. They get paid for the work they do. BayRides itself does have some volunteer drivers as well, but I haven't had the privilege of being driven by one of those yet. But anyway, I mean, as a senior, it just enables me to sort of face the senior years with confidence, to know that if I don't feel like driving, I can just come in once a week and pick up groceries. And so I've been enjoying it tremendously. To tell you the truth, in the small community that I live in, we haven't even got a community centre. This, I mean, it's the 8-seater that comes out to our community because we're at the end of the line. And this is the only social service we've got. For seniors, if you ever have to have a ride into a hospital, and that's a big favour, you know. BayRides here, I mean, because I know them and we're all friends here, you can't pan the camera to these 20 people sitting behind you there. But we're all having a laugh and a joke together. So if I ever needed to go to a hospital and I needed to sort of get back, then BayRides will come to the rescue. I mean, so in terms of social insurance, I mean, like, this is an incredible mechanism here. And it just starts by just taking the grocery bus in. And so I'm sure if there are other people in the St. Margaret's Bay area who want to give it a go, just look up BayRides on the website and you get the phone number and you just have to phone in and they'll come and pick you up at your front door. I mean, that's an amazing service. I mean, I do enjoy driving. I'm someone who, I mean, I still drive, I still got a car. But I mean, as I get older, I'm getting fed up with driving, to tell you the truth.
I gave up my car and I had to depend on my family, and BayRides rescued me, gave me freedom again, affordable freedom, and all these wonderful friends. Most of them I didn't know before, and they're just great. Everybody looks after me. The drivers, they pick me up at my door and deliver me to my destination. Make sure that I get safely into the vehicle and into the store or wherever I'm going, and pick me up in reverse. It's helped my family too, because they're busy with their lives and I don't feel like a burden anymore. It's wonderful. I'd recommend it to anybody and everybody. Never heard of anything that would even compare. They go out of the way to accommodate me and everybody. They're wonderful. And some of it for seniors is free, like our grocery bus today. All we pay for is our purchases. I was brought up, if it looks and sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Well,